about trial or arrest here because the president claims that power. He just wouldn't say it. And they're like, but you're not allowed to do that. You know, the president wanted these powers but says he won't use them. Congress treasonously gave the president the dictatorial power he demanded. And now Congress is angry that he sent his emissaries, his henchmen in there, the generals, the joint chiefs, the chairman, and the traitorous, treacherous foreign banker asset, Panetta, to tell them repeatedly, over and over again, no, senators, we do not get authority from war from you. And the senators are like, are you saying the president can act alone? That's not in the Constitution. That's illegal. And they go, no, he acts under the UN and NATO. And the senators start saying, I'm losing my breath. I'm having, you can tell they're actually having adrenaline rushes. They're like, you're saying, and they're like, you're nothing. You're nothing. Read PDD 51, just the synopsis that was declassified. They won't release the full text. But the synopsis, 3 pages, says Congress can be completely suspended, the president for any emergency, including an undeclared one or a secret emergency or economic emergency, suspends everything and is absolute ruler. And that president and that office serves the United Nations and the globalists. Let me show you something here. In fact, we can put this on screen. This is Time magazine last November. What does it say right here? Regime change in Europe. Do Greece and Italy amount to a banker's coup? And then it goes on to say, well, yeah, the bankers are now appointing the prime ministers and presidents, and the countries have signed on to the bankers' debt. They don't tell you that part. And then now The Economist, the Financial Times, every day without looking. I see mainstream articles saying, yes, finance oligarchs will rule the world. And yes, it's a private corporate world government. And yes, liberty's being abolished. But that's a good thing. I remember the Financial Times of London 3 years ago. It's an Obama deception. Their foreign editor said, and now for world government. And he said, yeah, it's authoritarian. We kept it secret. And we're going to launch it now. But it's good that we're going to take all your freedoms. That's what the FBI director, that's what the Attorney General said last week in Congress. He said, well, yeah, we can kill citizens overseas or domestically. And they said, but there's no due process. There's no, you just kill people? And he goes, well, yeah, we make a determination because we decide. We, the executive. And see, now the executive has been told you can kill anybody, bomb anybody, launch wars anywhere by Congress. And so they come into Congress and they say, okay, you're vestigial. You're ceremonial. You understand? And they wouldn't be doing implode this country and this culture. So there's the headline in red at Infowars.com. Get it out to everybody. Coup d'etat. Pentagon and Obama declare Congress ceremonial. U.S. now under full banker occupation.
Folks, Iran and the Mideast nuclear...
We are back live, and I am very upset. I am very sad that we have been accurate and that we have been right about our prognosis for this republic and the world. Hundreds of establishment publications are now promoting the idea that secret arrest is good, that foreign private banks running our countries and even our towns and cities as they go bankrupt, it's openly being announced, is good. That we will be conscripted into corporate work brigades on top of our taxes once things fully collapse. Now, that's being prepared through the Governor's Council and is in executive orders that you just type in executive orders for forced labor and they'll all pop up for you at whitehouse.gov. There's a whole bunch of different concurrent resolutions on that. And the police are going to show up, just like in Russia or China, and say, come help build roads, ditches, on top of your other jobs, on top of everything. And, of course, if you're homeless, they'll just send you to a FEMA camp, but you'll have to work there. And the government admitted in the Emergency Centers Establishment Act that you will work at the civilian inmate labor camp, even if you are not convicted of a crime, because you got to pay for your keep. And that's the new America. And all the control freaks, all the nobodies, all the people that couldn't get a job, all the folks that want to be bullies, they're going to work for Homeland Security and rape our wives and beat us up and kill us and forcibly inoculate us. This is what happens in every country, and they're planning it here, and they're training them for it. hell is being prepared for this country. And just incrementally, they're just going to get everybody ready for it. Or we could wake up and say no to this. And the good news is, I've told everybody that when they come to this point of open martial law, open tyranny, open secret arrest, open disappearances of people with bags over their heads, that if the Congress and if the states say no and call the occupied federal government, it's run by foreign banks publicly, call their bluff. I mean, let the TSA and the feds put F-16s in the air and say no air traffic to Texas. Go ahead and let that unfold. You know, you heard military officers calling yesterday, and this is in the John Warner Defense Authorization Act 07, so I don't need to hear it from them, but it was good to hear the inside. I didn't just believe the callers. I already knew it. But he said, yeah, when Perry made the comment about Texas secession, which was just for political rhetoric gain with constituents that are awake to the 10th Amendment, they put the National Guard in all the states around Texas on alert, prepared them, and got their armored vehicles and tanks ready to invade the state of Texas. That's what's going on here. The John Warner Defense Authorization Act says insurrection, civil unrest, insurrection in the states and by legislatures and governors. And then it says real dryly in there, if there's a problem, I read it on air many times, you can go look it up, with governors. Replacing governors. You know, that happened twice here in Texas during Reconstruction. Texas ran 2 appointed northern governors out of the Capitol in gun battles at the Texas Capitol. So see, the globalists have done this in a lot of other countries. They've done this here, and they know. They know. So the Pentagon Northcom is aimed at the states publicly. It's all there. So it's time for people to understand that in the old days, the central government would just roll in and say, we're the central government. In the modern times, the central government's run by foreign assets, foreign corporations. It will stage terror attacks to make the federal government, FedGov, which is just the receivership arm of the bankers, look like the victim. Just like Oklahoma City, just like 9/11, all of it. 9/11 was a pretext to fully enslave this country and turn it into an engine of global domination. And the globalists want to overthrow every existing form. They state they want a post-industrial world. They want all the shops out of business, the movie theaters, golf courses. When they're done, you're going to have the economy of this country shut down by more than 70%. That's Maurice Strong and the UN's public plan. The elite are all going to move to other countries. America is meant to be absolutely crushed and destroyed and sucked dry. And when they're done, they're going to fire 90+% of the police, the goon forces, all of them. You're going to be living in slums as well when they're done. And you're going to love it, though. It doesn't matter. The fun you're going to have killing this country is going to be worth it. I know your heart. I do understand it. And I know there are a lot of police and military who are not totally given over to evil, but I'm telling you right now, going along with this is the same. You might as well not be lukewarm. You might as well, if you're not going to speak out and do things to stop this, then you might as well just go put a black uniform on, get on your knees, ask Satan into your life, and totally serve evil. Because you might as well just go the whole way. You understand that? You were hot nor cold, you were lukewarm, I spit you out of my mouth. You lukewarm people are the worst. Evil, I don't like it, but I understand it. It's the enemy. But those of you that roll over to this, you make me want to throw up. Key news straight ahead. Monday through Friday, we don't know how long. We're here, 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. 9 to noon Pacific, 10 to 1 Mountain. The websites are prisonplanet.tv, where we stream video of the radio show and have the nightly news and more, and Infowars.com and auxiliary cruisers, Infowars.net and prisonplanet.com. The feds have announced in Wired Magazine and other places they will take any.com or other variant website controlled by them through a certain registrar system. In fact, guys, you re-pull me that Wired Magazine article. I meant to get to it yesterday. Thank you. No judge, no jury, no nothing. They'll just take any website they want, including if it's critical of the government. YouTube admits their order to take down videos that are, quote, critical of the government. Homeland Security is on record threatening a mainstream TV news show in Florida, saying, do not interview the engineer who's criticizing the TSA. This is your warning. Just absolute, total criminal government. TSA wouldn't call up TV stations and say, don't cover this if you know it's good for you. We strongly advise you not to. They wouldn't have the state police trying to get me off 590 AM here in town, calling everybody up there, making bizarre statements, if they hadn't been given the green light. It's time to show the American people the scum they are. It's time to grope their women and children. It's time to harass old women dying of cancer. It's time to set up military checkpoints. It's time to give tens of trillions to foreign banks. It's time to put up face-scanning cameras and license plate readers everywhere. It's time to launch wars without congressional approval illegally and tell Congress to go fly a kite. It's time to ship guns into Mexico and blame the Second Amendment and have the government caught shipping cocaine into every major state in federal court and not getting in trouble. It's time to have DynCorp and Halliburton running giant child kidnapping rings and not getting in trouble. It's time to kill 1 million Iraqis. It's time to tell the public torture is good. It's time to have every tough guy on cop shows torturing people and violating the Constitution. It's time to not just abort babies in the womb, but up to age 3. And I see it all over the news now. They're criticizing people that aren't for killing babies up to age 3. If you're a new listener, you're like, what are you talking about? Oh, you haven't read AP, Reuters, all of it? Like, what's wrong with killing babies up to age 3? They're not really conscious. The bioethicists say that means eugenics. You see, and you're like, no, it's crazy to kill babies up to age 3. And they're like, no, you're the crazy person. And the average trendy goes, okay, kill babies. I'm trendy. And you're like, well, this all sounds crazy. Yeah, the Aztecs cutting people's hearts out every day to make the sun come up they thought was crazy. Hitler killing all those people was crazy. 90+% of the time, governments are run by total lunatics that love to murder people. You know why? Because good people don't stand up to them. Humans have a pre-designed system to give in to authority. So authorities wear crowns, big uniforms, badges, and we bend over and lick their boots. And government publicly says it's setting up a global government to kill everybody. For the New World Order, global government is just the beginning. Once it's in place, everything that they have been beta testing will come to fruition. Here it is, Wired Magazine. Uncle Sam, if it ends in a com, it's seizable. Even in foreign countries. When U.S. authorities, not servants, shuttered sports wagering site, Bodog, last week, it raised eyebrows across the net because the domain name was registered in Canadian company, ostensibly putting it beyond the reach of U.S. government. Working around that, the feds went directly to VeriSign, a U.S.-based internet backbone. Who do you think set up the web? The Pentagon. They gave it to VeriSign. And it goes on, contracted to manage the coveted.com. Yeah, they say under that it's under the Commerce Clause just because it says com. That was always the plan. And other generic top-level domains. Easy DNS, an internet infrastructure company, protested the ramifications of this are no less than chilling every single organization branded or operating under com, net, org, biz, etc. And the feds go on to say, we will take any website anytime we want, period. Okay.